was the particular service or the mechanism they had as microfinancing services and support to entrepreneurial development. I think it is very important to mention how these instruments of family compensation funds, or CONFAMA in particular, appear in a significant historical moment of Colombia in the 80s when the drug trafficking existed. In other words, the banking institutions or financial institutions that participate in the financial system have a responsibility and also direct relationship with what the society lives in a certain point in time. And there, this alternative that was presented by CONFAMA and the family compensation funds was very important at that historical point of Colombia. These microfinancing services appear in different areas in CONFAMA particularly, but one of them, very important, is the productive improvement that takes 55% of the credits granted in 2008 by CONFAMA and responds very pragmatically to two presentations that the National Planning Department made. First, these credits come together with training, and that was one of the calls of the National Planning Department to financial education. So access to credit can be tied to training, and it could be a good strategy to promote that financial education that might be missing today. Second, there is a specific product for placement of credits for remittances, which was another call of the National Planning Department director. And Mr. Juan Esteban presented a significant challenge of his institution, in particular the innovation that should exist to achieve greater coverage with respect to the target population for microfinancing. Last, Mr. Gomez's Action Social, I would like to supplement. The program of Families in Action is one of the most important programs or of the public social policy of Colombia, the more significant ones that the government has, and has evolved to what the government calls the network Juntos, together, that behind the intervention or the recovery of public order, the government comes with all its institutions, public services, education, health, etc. But the most interesting point for the issue that gathers us today is that through this social program, important, that allows us to get to the least favored families, it can achieve the bancarization through the subsidy given to them. That has been a very intelligent marriage, in my opinion, trying to use a subsidy for the least favored classes, or for those sectors of the society or the least favored Colombians, because through that, conditioned to some requirements of nutrition and education, it is achieved the conditioning of a subsidy disbursement to bancarization. That's a good strategy. It has worked for Colombia, which we very modestly would like to share with you all. In general terms, the program of Families in Action, costs relatively little for the beneficiaries, as the National Planning Department says. 0.5% of the GDP as a cost of Families in Action, and benefits 3 million families. 11 million people, right? So it is a good cost-benefit ratio, our program of Families in Action, and through it to achieve the bancarization, the inclusion into the banking system of these people. What is done, as Ricardo Gomez explained to us at the end, through covenants, agreements with the banks that allow the inclusion in the banking system of these families. In Colombia, there are some programs, other programs like this, and it's a challenge to us to tie them to bancarization. We have subsidies that go to displaced people by violence, other subsidies that go to the demobilized people, in other words, those people that voluntarily have given up weapons. Nearly 50,000 people are demobilized. They're beneficiaries of subsidy or financial assistance. So our challenge would be to reach them through those subsidies and to be able to achieve a bancarization of those least favored people, and just like the rangers. In other words, Familias en Acción, a public policy significant program in Colombia, is an example we should follow in those significant social programs of our government, such as that with the displacement, the demobilized, and the rangers. I think that's a summary of the ideas of the panelists. I thank you very much for your attention, and the panelists, thank you very much for your participation.